Hi, this is David Hall. Um, I'm being electronically harassed and gang stalked. Earplugs. This is David Hall. The evil white Americans and evil white Europeans, they control, they like to control governments. So they put their traitors in your countries as assets. And they control your countries via certain methods and certain means. They can control everyone in the countries. The goal is to kill everybody in the countries who won't serve them and bow down to them around the world for the evil white European and American empires. So let me tell you how they do it. They do it, number one, through assets in your countries. They, once again, are the world's biggest employer, the Department of Defense. So, once again, the evil white Europeans, evil Americans control your countries via this right here. Assets in your countries, traitors. 2, crime. And 3, nanites, illegal implants that they put through food and water and air. So I'm going to mention the crime and the leaders. The idea for the evil white European American empire to continue is because they know they need to be stopped. Morally, they should stop, and physically, they need to be stopped because they're not going to change morally. They pretend as though they're going to. They're not changing. They're not going to change. Another secret. They're not going to change. If they want an evil white empire, if the evil white people in America want to stay in that country, they're not going to change. Canada, not going to change. New Zealand, Australia, they're not going to change. They're going to keep on killing all you brown collar skinned people around the world and getting their assets around the world to help kill their own people. They're going to keep doing it. They know it's the only formula that keeps the evil white empire going, and they know it. To be in the lands and countries they shouldn't be in. They're going to keep on slaughtering those people, turn them against each other, and kill each other. So that's what they're going to do. Keep on doing it. That's why not going to change. If they left those countries, they'd have nothing to fight for and keep in power and control, and there would be peace. They'd all go back to Europe, and there would be peace around the world. They're the antagonists. They're the instigators. They're the aggressors. So anyways, crime. They are the... You have... your average citizen is afraid of a few things. They're afraid of the government, and they're afraid of criminals. Your average person won't do anything against the government because they're afraid of the government. Your average person won't do anything against the criminals because that's what the cops are supposed to do, and because they're afraid of the criminal. They call the police, and the police work for the government, and the police are supposed to take care of the criminals. Everyone knows that, and more people are discovering it every day. No, so not everyone, but a lot of people know, and more people are discovering every day, that the government works with the criminals. The evil white Europeans work with the government, who works with the criminals to put fear on the people. And the cops is just an illusion of fighting crime. The cops are the criminals too. They help the criminals. And people just get sacrificed in between so that they can have an illusion that the cops are fighting crime. It's actually a sick joke. The cops say this too. They say the war on drugs is a joke. Because it is a joke. Because they know, you know the cops who say that? Because they know that the government is the one that runs the crime. They know that they will run organized crime. They run the drugs. They run the children being sex trafficked. They run it. They run it so they can put people in fear. They run it so they can get more money. They run it so they can get more power. They run it so they can set tons of people up. They run it so they can intimidate people. And the evil white cops, they know the truth. They do. And That's the sick, sad part about it. So when you see the cops, they take care of certain types and kinds of crime. And the FBI also takes care of certain types of crime. What you won't hear is that they're all working with organized crime. And let me tell you how they do it. And they know it. It's the CIA and military. They, by definition, if they're working with the CIA and military, are working with organized crime. They're working with criminals. The CIA and military are criminals. And they promote criminality and sex trafficking children and drugs. If the cops are following the orders from the CIA and military, I've seen it myself. The cops are following orders from the people who do the crime, who instigate the crime. And not small crimes, like massive crime waves. They're just like, they're like a cleanup crew, if you will. They're like janitors. So they're not like, they know their job is not to stop crime. If their job was to stop crime, they would stop the Central Intelligence Agency. The cops would stop the Central Intelligence Agency, and they would stop the United States military, if that was their really job. Their job is to clean up the specks. What's left over after the CIA and military sex traffic children, and after they ship in all the drugs. Their job is to take care of the small people. And even though they're helping the evil white racist genocidal empire, and they know this, and I wanted to be a cop a long time ago. And I still pray for them when I hear a siren or the ambulance, whatever, but I have no respect for police officers at all, or CIA or military people. Because if I had a badge and a gun, I know what I would do. I would take down the evil white Europeans and evil white Americans if I had a badge and a gun. I know exactly what I would do. And they know what they should do too, but they're not going to do it. And they're not going to. They're fully aware of the system that they serve and work for. And most of them are white, so they love living in New Zealand and Australia and Canada and America, and they're not going to give up their evil white empire either. They know what this is all about. So once again, so the point of this video is to tell you that the evil white Europeans, evil white Americans run organized crime around the planet. It's a way that they can put people in fear. And once again, Mexico and Central America and South America is a perfect example of what they do. It's more open and direct there, the corruption, but in other places they hide it better. But that's what they do. They run the crime. They run the sex trafficking children, and they run the drugs. They're both very profitable businesses, money. And there's two things to get from it: a lot of money and a lot of power. It intimidates people. So why do they do it? Why do the evil white Europeans, Americans run the countries with fear? To keep the people in check. They want people in fear. The evil white Europeans, Americans know that they're in fear. So they're going to match their own fear of how much they're in fear and put that amount of fear on everybody else who shouldn't be afraid. They're afraid of us. They're afraid of the world. They're afraid of the human race. They're afraid of all the people that they're killing, slaughtering, torturing, and they're afraid of us stopping evil white Europeans and evil white Americans once and for all. And they're afraid of us. So they're going to match their fear with spreading fear to us. And to try to get us, to cripple us into doing nothing, into saying nothing, into doing nothing. And try to make us afraid that if we say anything about them, if we say the truth against them, and that if we do anything against them, that we should be so afraid that we shouldn't say anything about them. And we should be so afraid that we shouldn't do anything about them. Do anything against them. So those are their goals. Extreme fear. They want us so afraid that they want us to say anything about them and do anything about them. That's why the fear. They want us to cripple us with fear, 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 fear. That's the main reason they need crime. They Because when you realize the truth of how corrupt your government is, because it's run by white Europeans, Americans, and that they run the crime in your country too, on top of your leaders, that will psychologically put you in a place where, oh, I should give up. I shouldn't do anything. It's too corrupt. It's so evil. Oh, I'm afraid of the government. I'm afraid of the crime. They'll target me not only with the government, they'll also target me with criminals too. And you'll see targeted individuals around the world. This is another thing of fear. That's why I mentioned the nanites. They torture people with nanites. They torture people with them. That's the exact goal of the nanites. It's to torture people to death. For the Europeans and the evil white Americans, it's to torture people. They want everyone tortured. To spread what? Fear. So you don't do anything against evil white Americans and Europeans, and you don't say anything against evil white Americans and Europeans. In that you shut up and you do as you're told, and you help to torture and kill your people too. You're in a pyramid scheme now. Once you bow down to them, you're now in a pyramid scheme. You're now a part of the pyramid scheme of white European and white American power, white racist genocidal power, in their countries and in the countries around the world. You're now part of the pyramid scheme. As soon as you line up with them and you agree not to say anything about them and do anything about them, you are officially them. And that's what they want. They want a whole planet filled with cowards, weaklings. That'll help them with their conspiracy. The best thing you can do about the conspiracy is say nothing and do nothing. That's the best thing that all of you can do for them. So as long as they can put you in extreme amounts of fear, and they have various ways to do it psychologically, such as, oh, we're satanic, we're evil, we're child rapists, pedophiles, and drug dealers, drug addicts, we're corrupt, and blah, 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 blah. And they say that on the underground, and the above ground, they say, well, we're good, wonderful, fantastic people, we're fantastic, we're Christians, and blah, 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 blah. We rescue kids, and blah, blah, blah. But on the underground, they know a whole different layer of people know the truth when they discover what's really going on. And so for those people, it's fear. So, depends on how ignorant you are and what you know, that they do a different type of program on you. So if you don't know the truth, and you don't know about the nanites yet, and them naniting everyone on the planet and torturing everyone across the world in this program, then you're ignorant. You haven't discovered the truth yet, and so they hope you just believe the layers of lies and their propaganda. If you know the truth about the nanites, that they have a torture program, spy program around the planet, and that you know how evil they are, and you know what they're really doing, and that not good people and they're evil, then you need to be put in fear. These people don't need to be put in fear. They don't know the truth yet. But if you know the truth, then you need to be put in fear immediately. So they'll use the nanites. So then they want you to know about the nanites. They want you to know that about the corruption and the crime, and they want you to know about the fear. And their job now is to not to tell these people, the ignorant people, what's going on, or they will get killed by the white Europeans, Americans, and their assets in their countries, and they'll be killed. They'll be assassinated. They'll be killed too, and they'll be tortured more with those nanites. That's the real purpose of those nanites. Us being legally implanted. It's to spy on us for the evil white Europeans, Americans, and it's to torture us for the evil white Europeans and Americans. It's not to take down America, Babylon. It's not to stop America or Europe. It's not to stop the evil white people. You're all being lied to. It's so the evil white Europeans, Americans can kill all of you, torture you all, and put you all in fear, and for them to continue their evil white European American empire. That's their job. So whoever's telling you anything different than that is lying to you. So once again, God bless you. Here's another video. Once again, my number is 707, and this is a USA number, so you're probably dial +1 or something, or a 1+, however you do that. It's been a while since I made an international phone call. 707-640-5322, 707-640-5322. Once again, if you're hearing anything else than this, then you are being lied to on a massive level and scale, and they work for those people. God bless.